This week, we saw Valve providing the source code for Team Fortress 2 and other games to the community. But does it count as free software? We'll discuss. Plus, RPCS3 gets new networking code updates, and it's a big deal. And what's up with Bazzite Linux? We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about all of this and more today. That's right, it's Steam Deck and Linux gaming news time. This week, George Castro of Bazzite fame released some interesting numbers regarding Bazzite's usage. The numbers are both impressive and unsurprising to me. Bazzite is growing at what looks like an exponential rate. I mean, look at this chart comparing various Fedora atomic spins. We have Silverblue in blue, we have Kinonite in purple, there's Bluefin in light blue, Bazzite in pink, and Aurora in orange. And you can see that this is quite the curve here. I mean, this is almost getting to hockey stick territory. I mean, back in July of 2024, they were around 4,000 users weekly. Now in February of 2025, they're up to, what is this, 26.3 thousand? So over 26,000 users in just 8 months. Now, 26,000 admittedly might not sound like that much. I mean, compared to the number of people using Steam, it's a drop in the ocean. Bazzite's not even mentioned in the top 8 here. Instead, it's like in the other category. But this growth rate here is very impressive. It's incredible even. And I don't see this slowing down. It's indicative of the sea change that I've personally witnessed. I've seen so many people the sentiment change, right? Like when I started this channel, I had lots of comments from folks saying, why are you wasting your time talking about Linux gaming, or Linux gaming is a joke, or whatever, right? But today, Windows is the joke, right? Like it's becoming a meme that Windows is just a terrible operating system. And I see tons of people in the comments saying, I'm just waiting for the official release of SteamOS to switch over to Linux myself. My guys, you don't need to wait for the official SteamOS release. Bazzite exists, Chimera exists. They are both incredibly awesome Linux distributions. And I think Bazzite is probably just a cut above for beginners because they have a much more intuitive installation process than something like Chimera, which has more of an ncurses, intimidating looking installer. But I don't know, I really recommend Bazzite, and I also really want to congratulate them. I mean, 3 cheers to Bazzite and their amazing work that they're doing over there and the contributions that they're making to the Linux gaming ecosystem, and congrats to their team on this. I mean, what you guys are doing, you're contributing so much, and it's really starting to pay off. I mean, like I said, this is just incredible growth. So now it's time for Deals of the Week, where we review some of the best bundles and sales to help you grow your library. This week, I want to focus on the Humble Deck Builder Bonanza. Now, this is a pack of 6 games that you can get for $20 over on Humble. It comes with Hellcard, which is verified. We also have Fights in Tight Spaces Complete Edition, which is verified. We have Hadean Tactics, which is verified. There's Backpack Hero, which is verified. Death Roads Tournament, which is playable, and Ash of Gods The Way, which is playable. As always, if you pick up this bundle, you help out this show, but also support charity at no additional cost to you. So if you use my links down below, appreciate it. So this week, open source matchmaking PSN emulator RPCN got an update that enables or improves online support for dozens of games. This is impressive work, and their changelog for version 1.4.0 includes added support for IPv6 signaling and added support for groups, among other additions, changes, and features. According to the RPCS3 Discord, just a few of the games RPCN now supports includes Arcana Heart 3, Arcana Heart 3 Love Max, BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, BlazBlue Continuum Shift, BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma, BlazBlue Central Fiction, Persona 4 Arena, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Super Hang-On, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time Reshelled, and 2 titles from Under Night in Birth. Now, it's excellent to see the free and open source community supporting PlayStation 3 games. They're preserving gaming history, and I'm here for it, honestly. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not like that smash button? It's the best way to tell YouTube you want to see more videos just like this. And did you know that I release a new video every Monday and Friday morning? Get subscribed so you don't miss those. Now, I want to thank all of my patrons and the amazing Singularity members over on Patreon. If you believe in the work that I'm doing here, you can make a monthly contribution using the links below. It's all greatly appreciated. All right, let's get back to the news. Now, I talk about Valve a lot on this channel, and for good reason. They're one of the few developers out there that don't just support Linux, but are committed to it. And in that spirit, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to their games this week. First, let's talk about their continued support of some of their classic games. Counter-Strike Source and Day of Defeat Source received some fairly substantial updates. And the changes between the two are fairly similar. In fact, all the changes of Day of Defeat carry over to CS Source. For example, both games got 64-bit support in these updates. They added a borderless window option to video settings. They added bicubic light maps from Half-Life 2 20th anniversary update. They added radial fog, which also carries over from the anniversary update. They added support for Steam networking. They added UI scaling for high-resolution screens. They made the game launch in native resolution by default instead of 640 by 480. There's also a bunch of networking fixes, including client-side prediction stuff that fixed some jank and rollback in certain situations, and they fixed a lot of other things. But it's also interesting to note that Counter-Strike Source had a specific issue where they allow auto bunny hopping prediction in custom servers that want that feature. Now, the question is, why these changes and why now? Well, these games incorporate many of the changes made to the Source engine after the Half-Life 2 update. It probably wasn't that complicated to implement and was a benefit to fans of these games. It's great to see classic games like this having such support years or even decades after release. And speaking of games that have recently gotten an update from Valve, Team Fortress 2. Didn't think you'd be hearing that one, did you? But this isn't your typical update on Steam. No. This is an update to the Source SDK from way back in 2013. However, this includes all of the updates to Team Fortress 2. This includes all of the source code to Team Fortress 2. And you can now download the code, inspect it, change it however you'd like, and even release your own game based on Team Fortress 2's code base, given a few caveats. The first caveat is that whatever you create and share must be done free of charge. So there's no commercial license being given out here. This is only for non-commercial use. The second is that your use must meet the terms of use for Valve games in the Steam subscriber agreement, which from my understanding, after looking through it, it looks like it's just sections C and D as far as I can tell. But it shouldn't be a surprise that I am not a lawyer and I don't know what I'm talking about. However, my reading of it as a layman, at least to me, it says that there are surprisingly few restrictions in this license or in the subscriber agreement. Mostly it's just non-commercial redistribution. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just geeking out over license terms. I find it fascinating. But to me, this really seems like a fairly liberal license. Does it qualify as open source though? Because that's something that I'm really passionate about. If we check the open source initiatives, the open source definition, it doesn't take us very long to find an answer to that question. Section 1, free redistribution. The license shall not restrict any party from selling or giving away the software as a component of an aggregate software distribution containing programs from several different sources. The license shall not require a royalty or other fee for such sale. This kind of gives the whole shebang away. The license cannot restrict any party from selling the software. However, this license does allow users to redistribute their changes and this code under the same license. And I think that it does actually meet the other requirements here. So I think it would be fair to say that this is a source available license and a fairly unrestricted one at that. But there was an interesting find in all of this. Apparently, the bicubic lightmap code that was introduced in Half-Life 2 Anniversary was actually borrowed from Godot Engine. Now, this is incredibly cool, as Godot's code is MIT licensed, and the engine is becoming a force to be reckoned with in the gaming industry. I actually made my game, Doodling's Arcade Sports Ball, in Godot, and it's been a ton of fun to work with the engine. And we're seeing that game developers, specifically Valve, are benefiting directly and contributing back to free and open source software. And I think that's something that is not just commendable, but something that should be championed and proselytized in the community. All in all, I think we've seen another great week of Steam Deck and Linux gaming news. I want to thank my members on Patreon and my YouTube members for making this show a reality. If you'd like to see your name listed over here, then you can use the links below to make a monthly contribution on Patreon or as a YouTube member. Thank you for watching my show, and I'll see you guys in the next one.